I wake to the smell of sandalwood and danger. My eyes snap open, and the first thing I see is a ceiling painted with constellations I don't recognize. Gold leaf. Vaulted arches. Luxury that makes my skin crawl because I have no idea how I got here. Then I feel it, the warmth beside me. The weight of an arm draped possessively across my waist. I turn my head slowly, and my heart stops. The Alpha King. Even in sleep, Darius Blackthorn is terrifying. All sharp angles and brutal beauty. A face carved for conquest, dark hair falling across a brow that's crushed kingdoms. Scars trace his bare shoulder, each one a story of violence survived. And I'm in his bed. Wearing nothing but a silk nightgown I've never seen before. My mind races, trying to piece together last night. There was the Harvest Moon Festival. The sacred wine. Dancing under starlight. And then, nothing. A blank space where memory should be. Panic claws up my throat. Did he? Did we? I need to leave. Now. I slide carefully from beneath his arm, every movement calculated, every breath held. My bare feet touch cold marble, and I'm 3 steps toward the door when his voice stops me cold. Running so soon, little wolf? I freeze. His voice is smoke and gravel, the kind of voice that's ended negotiations and started wars. My voice comes out strangled. I need to go. Do you even remember how you got here? He's sitting up now, and the sheets pool at his waist, revealing a torso covered in tattoos, ancient symbols that pulse with faint silver light. Marks of the old magic. No, the admission feels like failure. Interesting. His eyes, one silver, one gold, the mark of a king chosen by the moon herself, pin me in place. Because I remember everything. Call to action urgent, inviting tone, wait. Before we find out what happened in that bed, if you're already hooked by this mystery, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell for Moonlight Mate stories. Because trust me, what comes next? You won't want to miss a single second. Now, let's discover the truth. What do you remember? I force the words out, trying to sound braver than I feel. Darius rises from the bed with predatory grace, and I realize he's wearing even less than I am. Just black silk pants that ride low on his hips. Every inch of him is weapon and warning. I remember you collapsing in the festival square, he says, moving toward me with measured steps. Your eyes glowing violet, a color that shouldn't exist in any wolf. I remember the crowd backing away in fear. I remember your body convulsing as something ancient tried to claw its way out of you. My hand flies to my throat. Violet eyes. The forbidden color. The mark of. I carried you here myself, he continues, now close enough that I can feel the heat radiating from his skin. My healers worked through the night to stabilize you. Whatever power tried to surface almost killed you, Sarah. Hearing my name on his lips sends a shiver down my spine. How do you know my name? His laugh is dark. I know everything about you, Sarah Nightshade. Orphan of the River Pack. Ward of the cruel Alpha Marcus who worked you like a slave for 15 years. The girl who scrubs floors and hides her scent and pretends to be nothing. Tears sting my eyes. He's right. That's exactly what I am. Nothing. But I also know what you really are, he says softly, and his hand comes up to cup my face with surprising gentleness. I know about the violet eyes you hide with glamour. I know about the power you suppress every full moon until it makes you sick. I know about the birthmark on your back that matches a symbol from the before times. My breath catches. No one knows about the birthmark. I've made sure of it. Why? My voice breaks. Why would the Alpha King care about someone like me? His dual-colored eyes bore into mine with an intensity that steals my breath. Because 3 nights ago, the moon goddess herself appeared in my dreams. She showed me a wolf with violet eyes standing in flames that didn't burn. She said one word, soulbound. The world tilts. Soul-bound. The rarest of all mate bonds. The kind that legends are written about. The kind that hasn't existed for 1,000 years. No, I whisper, stumbling backward. That's impossible. I'm nobody. You're the king of all packs. The moon goddess wouldn't. The moon goddess does what she wants, he cuts in, but there's no heat in his voice. Only a bone-deep weariness. And apparently, she's decided that my fated mate is a girl who doesn't even know what she is. What am I? The question bursts out before I can stop it. He studies me for a long moment, and something like pity crosses his brutal features. You're what the old wolves call a violet star. The last of a bloodline everyone thought was extinct. And Sarah? His voice drops to barely a whisper. You're in more danger than you can possibly imagine. Darius leaves me alone to process, but how do you process learning your entire life has been a lie? I sink onto the edge of his massive bed and let memory drag me under. I was 3 when they found me in the burned remains of a village. No survivors except one small girl with eyes that shifted between brown and violet, clutching a silver pendant shaped like a 5-pointed star. Alpha Marcus took me in. Everyone said he was kind. Noble. A savior. They didn't see what happened behind closed doors. You're cursed, he'd hiss, his hand tight around my throat whenever the violet tried to show. An abomination. I should have left you to die, but the council would ask questions. So he made me useful instead. Servant. Scapegoat. Punching bag for his cruel son and crueler daughter. I learned to make myself small, invisible, forgettable. I learned to bury the violet so deep that sometimes I forgot it existed. Until the night of my 18th birthday, when the power surged so violently that I nearly burned down the entire pack house. Marcus beat me unconscious and locked me in the cellar for a week with silver chains that seared my skin. Control it, he'd snarled through the door, or I'll kill you myself and tell the council you went rogue. So I learned control. Iron control. I wrapped my power in chains tighter than any silver, buried it so deep that not even the full moon could call it forth. But I could feel it down there. Waiting. Growing stronger. A star about to go supernova with nowhere to shine. The door opens, pulling me back to the present. Darius enters carrying a tray of food, bread, cheese, fruits I've only seen in the royal markets. You haven't eaten in 2 days, he says, setting it beside me. Your body needs fuel to recover. Why are you being kind to me? The question escapes before I can cage it. He sits across from me, maintaining careful distance. Would you prefer I wasn't? I'd prefer honesty. You're the Alpha King. I'm nobody. Even if the moon goddess did show you a vision, why would you actually care? You could have any wolf in the realm. Any wolf except the one she chose for me. His jaw tightens. Do you think I wanted this, Sarah? I've spent 10 years as king building alliances through calculated political matches. I have 3 potential queens from the strongest packs waiting for my decision. And then you collapse at my feet during the most important festival of the year, glowing like a violet star, and suddenly everything I've planned becomes irrelevant. There's anger in his voice, but also something rawer. Fear. I'm sorry, I whisper, because what else can I say? Don't apologize for existing. His voice softens. That's the first rule of surviving in this world. Never apologize for what you are. And what am I, exactly? You said violet star, but what does that mean? He rises, moving to the window that overlooks his kingdom. The violet stars were the first wolves. The ones who walked with the moon goddess when the world was young. They could bend reality, walk between realms, speak to the dead. They were living bridges between the mortal world and the divine. 1,000 years ago, a faction of wolves grew jealous of their power. They hunted the violet stars to extinction, wiping out entire bloodlines. It was the bloodiest war our kind has ever known. He turns back to me, and his mismatched eyes are haunted. The last violet star was a child named Lyra. She was 5 years old when they burned her alive in front of the moon temple. Horror claws up my throat. That's barbaric. That's our history. His voice is hard. And if word gets out that you exist, that same fear will rise again. There are wolves in this realm who still believe violet stars are too dangerous to live. Who would kill you before you could awaken fully? Then why tell me any of this? Why not just let me leave? Pretend we never met? He crosses the space between us in 2 strides, kneeling so we're eye level. Because the moon goddess doesn't make mistakes. If she bound us together, there's a reason. And because. He hesitates, and for the first time I see vulnerability in the Alpha King. Because I've been alone my entire life. Surrounded by thousands but known by none. And when you looked at me just now, truly looked at me, you saw past the crown. Past the titles. Past the monster everyone expects me to be. I don't think you're a monster, I say softly. You should. His smile is sad. Everyone else does. 3 hours later, Darius leads me through hidden passages beneath the palace. We're dressed simply, him in dark leather, me in borrowed clothes that actually fit for once in my life. Where are we going? I ask as we descend stone steps that feel older than memory. Somewhere no one has been in a century. Somewhere only the Alpha King can access. He glances back, and there's excitement in his eyes beneath the caution. The original moon temple. The stairs open into a cavern so vast my gasp echoes for seconds. The ceiling is lost in darkness, but the walls glow with the same violet light that lives in my eyes. At the center stands an altar carved from a single piece of moonstone, and behind it, a massive mural that steals my breath. A woman with violet eyes and silver hair stands wreathed in starlight. Around her, wolves bow, not in submission, but in reverence. Above her head, the moon goddess herself reaches down, placing a crown of woven light on the woman's brow. The first violet star, Darius says quietly. Astra Nightshade. Your ancestor. My hand flies to the pendant hidden beneath my shirt. The 5-pointed star I've worn since they found me. Nightshade isn't a common name. It's not a name at all. It's a title. The Nightshades were the royal line of violet stars. The bridges between worlds. The keepers of balance. He moves closer to the mural. My own bloodline traces back to her son. We're connected, Sarah. Your blood and mine mixed 1,000 years ago. The implications make my head spin. But if the Nightshades were royalty, why was I found in a burned village, alone? That's what we need to find out. He approaches the altar, and suddenly I feel it, a pulling sensation in my chest, like invisible threads drawing me forward. My feet move without my conscious command. Sarah, wait, Darius reaches for me, but I'm already at the altar, my hand touching the cool moonstone. The world explodes into vision. I see a woman, beautiful and terrible, screaming as she's surrounded by wolves with blood-red eyes. She clutches a small child to her chest, violet magic swirling around them in desperate protection. Run, she screams to someone I can't see. Take her and run. A man appears, strong, scarred, with eyes like Darius's. He grabs the child even as the woman falls, her throat torn open by savage fangs. I'll keep her safe, he vows, tears streaming down his face. I swear on the moon, Arya. I'll keep her safe. But then the scene shifts. Fire. So much fire. The man lies dead, the pendant clutched in his hand. And the child, me, crawls from the wreckage alone, her eyes violet and terrified. I gasp back into myself, and Darius catches me as my legs give out. What did you see? My mother. The words come out broken. They killed her. And someone tried to save me but, tears choke off the rest. Hey. Hey, look at me. Darius cups my face, forcing me to meet his eyes. You survived. That matters. You survived when an entire faction wanted your bloodline erased. That makes you the strongest wolf I've ever met. I'm not strong. I'm terrified. Strength isn't the absence of fear. It's surviving despite it. He brushes away my tears with surprising tenderness. You want to know why the moon goddess chose you? Because you've been broken 1,000 times and never stayed down. Because you've had every reason to become bitter and cruel, and instead, you're still kind. Still hopeful. Still fighting. His words crack something open inside me. What if I can't be what she needs me to be? What if I fail? Then we fail together. His forehead touches mine, and I feel something shift between us, not quite a bond yet, but the beginning of one. You're not alone anymore, Sarah. Never again. A sound echoes through the temple, stone grinding against stone. We pull apart as part of the wall slides open, revealing a chamber beyond. Inside, resting on a pedestal, is a crown. Not gold or silver, but woven from pure starlight, pulsing with violet energy that calls to something deep in my soul. The crown of stars, Darius breathes. I thought it was a myth. What does it do? According to legend, it amplifies a violet star's power 1,000-fold. Makes them unstoppable. He looks at me, wonder and worry warring in his expression. It also reveals their true destiny. I approach slowly, every instinct screaming that touching that crown will change everything. But I've never been one to run from the truth, no matter how terrifying. My fingers brush the starlight. Power explodes through me, not painful, but overwhelming. I see flashes of possible futures, and in all of them, one truth remains constant. Darius and I, bound together by something deeper than fate. Partners. Equals. Soulbound in every sense of the word. The visions fade, and I'm left gasping. What did you see? Darius demands. Us, I whisper. I saw us. Together. Fighting side by side. Building something new. I meet his eyes. The moon goddess didn't just bind us as mates. She bound us as partners. As equals. You're not meant to rule alone, Darius. And I'm not meant to hide anymore. We barely make it back to the palace before all hell breaks loose. The Grand Council is waiting, 12 of the most powerful alphas in the realm, their faces carved from stone in judgment. And standing at their head is Alpha Marcus. Your Majesty, he says with a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. I've come for what's mine. Darius's hand finds mine. Sarah is under my protection. She belongs to no one. Nightshade? Marcus laughs. She's no nightshade. She's a cursed orphan I took in out of pity. A servant girl with delusions of grandeur. Careful, Marcus, Darius warns. You're calling the moon goddess a liar. An elderly counselor steps forward. This girl appears during the harvest festival, conveniently collapses at your feet, and suddenly she's your fated mate? It's too perfect. Too convenient. We demand proof. The bond speaks for itself. Then prove it, Marcus interrupts. Subject her to the trial of truth. If she's truly what she claims, the sacred flames won't harm her. My blood turns to ice. The trial of truth, flames that burn away falsehood. They're also excruciatingly painful and have killed wolves who were simply too afraid to withstand the agony. Absolutely not, Darius says flatly. Then we vote to have her exiled. Possibly executed as a threat to our kind, the counselor says coldly. I'll do it. My voice cuts through the argument. I'll submit to the trial. Sarah, no. I have to. I squeeze his hand. If I run, they'll hunt me. If I refuse, they'll see it as proof of guilt. But if I survive, they'll have no choice but to accept me. Marcus grins. The trial commences at sunset. That gives you 3 hours to prepare. Or say goodbye. Darius takes me to his private gardens, a hidden sanctuary where moonflowers bloom and a waterfall feeds into a crystal-clear pool. This was my mother's favorite place, he says quietly. She died when I was young, but I still come here when the crown gets too heavy. I sit beside him on the grass. Tell me about her. She was fierce. Kind. The strongest wolf I've ever known. He picks a moonflower, twirling it. She would have liked you. Would have seen what I see, someone who's been beaten down but refuses to stay down. What happened to her? Assassinated by a rival pack when I was 15. They poisoned her slowly, and by the time we realized, it was too late. She died in my arms, making me promise to be a better king than my father. To lead with justice instead of fear. I'm sorry. So am I. Sorry that you'll face the trial because I couldn't protect you from the council's fear. He finally looks at me. You deserve better than this, Sarah. I deserve to be seen, I counter. To be known. And you see me, Darius. All the broken pieces, all the hidden power, all the fear, you see it and don't run. That's more than better. That's everything. The waterfall's music fills the silence. Then, quietly, there's something you need to know. About why the council is so afraid. Okay. There was another Violet Star. 20 years ago. She went insane. The power consumed her until she couldn't tell friend from enemy. She killed thousands before a coalition of alphas finally brought her down. My stomach drops. That's why they want me dead. That's why they're terrified. He takes my hand. But I've been in your mind, Sarah. I've felt your soul. You're nothing like her. Where she was consumed by power, you're consumed by the need to protect. To save. How can you be so sure? Because you could have killed Marcus 100 times. But you chose restraint. Choose mercy. His thumb traces circles on my palm. That's not someone who'll lose themselves to power. That's someone strong enough to control it. Tears slip down my cheeks. What if I'm not strong enough during the trial? Then I'll anchor you. He shifts closer. That's what soulmates do. I'll be your tether. Your way back. No matter how deep the pain goes, I'll pull you home. Promise? On my life. On my crown. On every star in the sky, I promise. The bond between us blazes bright, and suddenly I'm feeling everything he feels, his absolute certainty in me, his terror of losing me, his growing love. I'm scared, I admit. Good. Fear keeps you sharp. He cups my face. But don't let it paralyze you. When the flames come, remember this moment. Remember that you have someone worth surviving for. I don't plan to kiss him, but suddenly my lips are on his, and he's kissing me back with desperate hunger. When we pull apart, we're both breathing hard. If I die tonight, I start. You won't. But if I do, I want you to know, these 3 days with you have been worth more than 15 years of surviving. You made me feel alive. Seen. Chosen. I know, he says softly. I feel it too. Through the bond. And Sarah? When you survive tonight, and you will, I'm going to spend every day proving I'm worthy of being your mate. You already are. The trial chamber is ancient stone and shadows. Thousands of wolves line the walls, summoned to witness either my vindication or my execution. At the center burns a pillar of silver flame, pure, ancient magic that predates even the violet stars. Marcus stands beside the flames. Are you ready, little Sarah? I have nothing to hide, I say, voice shaking. Darius stands at the edge, forbidden from interfering but radiating fury. I'm here, he sends through our forming bond. Always here. The head counselor steps forward. Sarah, called Nightshade, you stand accused of deception. You will enter the flames of truth. If you are honest, they will reveal your soul. If you lie, they will consume you. I understand. Then step forward. I walk toward the flames, and Marcus suddenly produces a parchment. Wait. I have evidence. A letter from the healers showing foreign substances in her blood. Hallucinogens known for creating false visions and manipulating bonds. The crowd erupts in whispers. That's impossible, I protest. I never. The evidence doesn't lie, the counselor says coldly. Someone drugged you, planted false memories, made you believe you were something you're not, all to manipulate our king. This is a setup, Darius snarls, but guards block his path. Marcus orchestrated this. To protect my king from a dangerous con artist? Marcus's performance is flawless. She's obsessed with escaping her station. What better way than to trick the king himself? I didn't trick anyone. My voice cracks. The violet eyes are real. The bond is real. Can be faked, the counselor interrupts. With the right magic. The flames will reveal the truth. Through our bond, I feel Darius's certainty in me warring with the seed of doubt Marcus planted. I'll do it, I say. I'll enter the flames and prove I'm telling the truth. I step into the fire. The pain is immediate and total. Not burning, but revelation. Every lie I've ever told myself floods through me, every moment of self-doubt, every instant of weakness. But then, deeper, I see my truth. The survivor who endured 15 years of hell. The protector who never let cruelty make her cruel. The violet star who's about to prove she's unbreakable. The flames show me my truth. And it's beautiful and terrible in equal measure. Then I feel it, Marcus has poisoned the sacred flames. The pain amplifies, my control slipping. This is how I die, I think distantly. But then I hear Darius through our bond, you are not the flame, Sarah. You are what the flame reveals. You are truth itself. And suddenly, I understand. The flames aren't killing me. They're showing me who I really am. I choose to become it. The violet erupts, not wild, but controlled. The silver flames of truth don't fight me, they recognize me. They bow. I am Sarah Nightshade, last daughter of the violet stars, and I am done being small. The flames expand, and suddenly everyone can see what I see, my memories, my pain, my absolute honesty. They see Marcus's cruelty. His treachery. The poison he added to the flames. No. Marcus screams, but it's too late. The flames release me, and I step out, not burned, but transformed. My eyes blaze violet, my skin glows with starlight. Marcus Thornwood, I say, voice echoing with ancient authority, you stand accused of treason. Of poisoning sacred flames. Of attempted murder. How do you plead? Violet chains of energy bind him. This is an outrage, he snarls. This is justice. I turn to Darius. The penalty for harming the king's maid is death. But I'll let you decide his fate. Darius looks at Marcus with cold fury. Exile to the Deadlands. Let him survive alone, as he forced Sarah to do for 15 years. The council erupts in agreement. As guards drag Marcus away, the head counselor approaches. The council recognizes Sarah Nightshade as a true violet star. As the king's bonded mate. As the ground shakes. Not an earthquake. Something worse. Darkness splits the chamber floor, and from it emerges a figure draped in shadows with eyes glowing red. Well done, little star, the figure says. You've awakened exactly as planned. Now, let's see if you're strong enough to face what comes next. Who are you? Darius demands, pushing me behind him. The shadow figure laughs. I am what killed the violet stars. What has been waiting for one powerful enough to break the seal that binds me? Horror dawns. The awakening. Yes. Every time a violet star claims their full power, they crack the prison just a little. And you, dear Sarah, just shattered it completely. The creature's smile is nightmares. I am the first void walker. And soon, all my brethren will follow. The chamber erupts into chaos as the void walker attacks. But Darius's hand finds mine, and our bond blazes between us. His alpha power flows into me, not dominating but supporting. Together, he says. Together, I agree. The violet flame surges, but this time it's different, it's ours. Mine and Darius's, woven together by the soul bond. We face the void walker as partners, as equals, as what we were always meant to be. The battle is fierce, reality bending, but every time I falter, Darius anchors me. Every time he's overwhelmed, I protect him. Finally, working in perfect sync, we drive the void walker back. This isn't over, it hisses. More will come. Then we'll face them, I say. Together. Because that's what you don't understand. You're alone. We're not. The void walker retreats into shadow, and the chamber falls silent. Darius pulls me close. You did it. You actually did it. We did it, I correct. That's the whole point. 3 months after the trial that changed everything, Darius and I stand in the same throne room, but I'm no longer a servant hiding my power. I'm his queen. His partner. His equal. We've spent these months rebuilding, creating new laws that protect Omegas, dismantling hierarchies built on fear, preparing for the Void Walker's return. It hasn't been easy. Change never is. But every night, we return to that tower garden. And every night, we remember who we are beneath the crowns. Do you regret it? Darius asks one evening. Waking up in my bed? Everything that came after? I look at the realm spread before us, imperfect but striving, messy but honest. Not for a second, I say honestly. Because I woke up that morning not knowing who I was. And now? I squeeze his hand. Now I know exactly who I am. And who I choose to be. My fierce violet star. Your equal, I correct with a smile. Always your equal. Music swells beautifully, then fades. Narrator's voice becomes intimate. So that's what happened when she woke in the Alpha King's bed. She discovered she was more than she believed. She fought for the right to exist. She found a partner who saw her as an equal. And she proved that sometimes the most radical thing you can do is refuse to be small. If this story reached inside your chest and grabbed hold, if you felt Sarah's fear, her fury, her refusal to accept the cages others built, then don't let this moment fade. Subscribe to Moonlight Mate Stories. Hit that notification bell. Because we tell stories about the wolves who refuse to bow, the outcasts who become legends, the broken things that forge themselves into something beautiful. Drop a comment, would you have entered the flames? What would your violet star power be? What cage are you breaking free from? Because at Moonlight Mate Stories, we see you. Every scarred, scared, fierce part of you. Now go out there and refuse to dim. Burn bright, violet stars. The world needs your light. 1 year after waking in the Alpha King's bed, I stand in a garden I designed, where violet flowers bloom year-round, where Omegas train in their power, where the old rules no longer apply. Darius appears behind me, wrapping his arms around my waist. The scouts report no Void Walker activity in weeks. They're planning something, I say, but I'm not afraid anymore. Let them plan. He kisses my temple. We'll face it together. Our twins, a boy with my violet eyes and a girl with his mismatched ones, run through the garden with the careless joy of children who've never known cages. Tell us the story, they demand. About how Mama woke up in Papa's bed. Darius and I exchange glances and laugh. Once upon a time, I begin, there was a girl who didn't know she was a star. And a king who didn't know he was lonely. And when they found each other, they discovered that the strongest magic isn't power, it's choosing to be vulnerable. To be seen. To be loved. Did they live happily ever after? My daughter asks. They lived, I say honestly. Some days were hard. Some days were beautiful. But they lived together, chose each other every day, and built a world where their children could shine without fear. The sun sets over our realm, imperfect, striving, free. And the violet star who once woke terrified in a stranger's bed? She burns bright, loved and loving, exactly as she was always meant to be.